My name is Mercy Emmanuel. I'll start with updates on recent trends. I think 2 weeks ago, 2 days ago rather. Yeah, we took a story of Amira and 16 others that were adopted. So Mr. Macaroni calls out President Muhammadu Buhari, police, over abduction of Amira and 16 others. You recall Amira sent a distress message both on her Twitter and WhatsApp account, explaining she had been kidnapped at gunpoint by men in police uniform, alongside 3 pregnant women and 2 kids. Now, Nigerian skit maker and activist Mr. Macaroni has called out Nigerian police and President Muhammadu Buhari on their silence regarding the distress signal sent by Amira. Taking to his Twitter account, he wrote, "Yesterday, Amira sent a distress message." So I'm just going to paraphrase. He sent a distress message that she and 16 others were abducted at gunpoint by people in police uniform in Abuja. So Mr. Macaroni is calling on the president and security agents in Nigeria to please find her. And again, it's like 2 days ago, over 2 days now. Amira is still missing with 16 others. So I'm going to take reactions online. The police FCT command gave a promising tweet that they are making progress toward their rescue. The tweet read, "Update on finding at Amira. The FCT police command wishes to update the general public on the above as follows. The investigative and tactical apparatus on the case remain as discoveries are looking promising. Contact is maintained with our family to speed up investigations." So let me take reactions. At Thank God Victor, at an FF2 says, "It's disheartening to see that this lady, despite having shared her live location yesterday, hasn't been found. Nigeria, which way, I beg?" Then Aisha Yesufu said, "If Amira was a child of so-called big wigs, would there be dilly-dallying? No Nigerian is more than any Nigerian." So I know we've been praying and asking God for the peace of this nation for, I can't even remember, for a very long time. But again, for how long? Amira has been missing for over
48 hours?
Yes. And up till now, there is nothing about her.
The fact that she even sent a live location, I can imagine if this was not to compare, even if this is comparing, it's not going to be a bad thing trying to compare. If this was an American citizen or a British citizen, you can't have this happen. We saw what happened in Nigeria. An American citizen was abducted, and they had to, all of those, the stress from America to Nigeria to have that person released. We saw how that happened. Rescued, not even released, rescued. We saw how that happened. So no Nigerian is more important than a Nigerian. I could just imagine this is a child of probably a multi-billionaire somewhere, or a public official.
Just like I
said. And also, this lady shared, the day you mentioned this on the show, I was saying that these people have access to social media. The fact that she had even made people know this was happening, she's already at a very high risk.
Yes.
And in climes that has respect for citizens, in climes that indeed the principal duty of the leaders and the rulers there is to safeguard lives and properties. If that is their principal duty, crimes like that, it shouldn't take up to 6 hours for that lady to be rescued, because they respect it's important to them. But this is for 8 hours. We don't know how long this would go, but hopefully my heart goes to these people, pregnant women and innocent children that know nothing about, that were unfortunate to be born in Nigeria. Their only crime is being Nigerian. So
let's get your thoughts.
It's sad what's happening. Again, we talk about all of these things all the time, that we are a reactive, people rather than proactive. Now, I know quite well that even in insane crimes, that times, that caught unawares rarely, once a while, and they need to react rather than be proactive. But in terms of being reactive, it also has to be speedy, because when it comes to issues of kidnapping, time is of essence. And we know quite well that the lady sent a distress, tweet, and there were live locations, there were description of how, the raid or the kidnapping incident was carried out. Talked about, the use of camouflage, police uniforms, the venue, Abuja. Talked about plans going forward that, they intended to, put some in Ilorin, some in Lagos. She had already given all of those sensitive intel. Great. It's quite surprising that, the police force did not act on it immediately. Again, we talk about, you know, being reactive. Even in terms of being reactive, we're not even fast enough. We're not, you know, right on guard when it comes to being reactive.
We have instances when police will say, okay, there's no fuel.
You know, we're always slow to even being reactive. Again, it's a crime to be reactive in the first place. You know, when I say crime, I mean that in quote. But as I said, sometimes even in sync climbs, some things catch them napping and they just have to be reactive. But time is of essence. You have to be fast about it. For all of the intel that lady shared, I'm quite surprised that up till now we've not even had an update regarding probably suspects or a hideout. You know, all we're getting to hear is they've made contact with her family. It's ridiculous.
Because the FCT command said investigation is ongoing. And Margaret said something.
That's a political rhetoric.
No, Margaret said something. Our safety is even, in fact, I'm even concerned about safety, because Margaret said something that these people are online. Yes, they are online.
Yes.
So possibly they've even seen her at Sweet. So we don't even know whether she's alive now, or we don't know what is happening.
No one is expecting the police to say, oh, okay, we've seen their hideouts is at, you know, Ikeja, or is at this. No one is expecting the police to you know, divulge such sensitive information. But there's a way you can say so much without saying, you know, so much either. It depends on how you go about disseminating the information. Right, telling us, you know, via the tweet that, oh, we're in contact with the family, investigation, that's more like a rhetoric we've heard over and over again. It's now becoming, you know, one of those political rhetorics. What we expect is, oh, okay, the police are on it, we're on the heels, okay, they hide out, you know, things like that, without divulging much, yet you're still able to give us pieces that there's progress.
Okay, so we still have more on insecurity. Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu on Thursday warned the federal government that its inability to secure life and property in the country will soon leave citizens with no choice but to arm themselves in self-defense. Akeredolu gave the warning while delivering the keynote address at the meeting of the Attorney General of the 36 states of Nigeria held in Lagos. Said the police were overwhelmed. The governor asked the police to close shop if the federal government could not meet their equipment need. Akeredolu insisted that the police has failed in their constitutional role for protecting Nigerians. He said, and I quote, "We will carry arms very soon, Ogamalami. There is no other way. The police has failed," the governor declared. Let's take some, okay, before I take the reactions to this, I know there are countries where citizens are allowed to carry arms for their protection. So, do you think it's advisable for Nigerians to follow this route?
Well, it's difficult, you know. Look at America that is leading in that light. They do not, without a doubt, you know, an iota of doubt, they have gun violence as a problem, a huge problem. And for a people that is seemingly divided more than, you know, even America or Americans are, it will be it will most likely lead to gun violence. Let me put it that way. We know we're divided along religious lines, ethnic lines. There's also the place of being impatient and angry. I mean, imagine Lagos, you know, driving on the road alone, someone hits your car, and then the next day you're pulling a Glock and all of that. So we do not want that kind of gun violence. I understand, you know, the governor's position. I am Rotimi Akeredolu that if nothing is done to, you know, curb the speed of insecurity in the land, that the people may be forced to defend themselves. I get it, but should we really legislate that, you know, citizens of age should be able to carry arms? Considering our peculiarities as a people, it may lead to gun violence.
Okay, but I think he's saying this because of the recent happenings, especially the one at Owo.
Yes.
So let's assume those church members as they
had guns.
Yeah,
they
will have been able to defend.
I mean, but again, it has to be regulated.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the issue with that is it has its pros and cons, because you can now have issues of illegal arms dealing. There will be, you know, illegal guns and ghost guns all over the nation. You will have issues of, you know, illegal acquisition of the guns. Licenses can be, you know, may not be regulated well. Again, it's difficult, really. It's neither here nor there.
Okay, but let's, aside regulation, do you think most Nigerians will not even be considering maybe they should have at least a little gun in their house because of the happenings in the country?
Well, the thing is that before we move to the next story, for the want of time, nobody really has the monopoly of thuggery. Nobody has the monopoly of will I say violence. If anybody can decide to be violent, that some persons are deciding to be quiet doesn't mean they cannot be violent. So violence is not created for one particular person or anger for the next person. Anybody can be anything. So I hope it all gets to the point, because if you allow this get to the point, if you annoy me, I'm a mother. I may probably bring out my gun. I won't sit and watch my family killed. I may just want to do that. So before it gets to that point, I wouldn't want to say it's a good idea or not, because it's gotten to a point where Nigerians are fed up.
Yes.
But for now, before it gets to that point, let us do what we should do, because nobody has a monopoly of
just
violence.
In 10 seconds, if we're even going to go down that road in terms of, you know, arming ourselves and letting people defend themselves in terms of the, you know, issue of liberty, then there should be a regulation or a legislation banning, you know, semi-automatic weapons.
Okay, so I'll just take like two reactions to this story. At Gideon Asoro said, no police, okay, not police now, but government and politicians, especially delegates, who always bring out incompetent candidates for us to vote. Then Worry Man says, it is not true. That's reacting to Akeredolu's
Yes.
It is not true. Nigerian politicians has failed us. Police are human beings. Let government treat them well. They can do their job very well. So because Akeredolu made a statement that, okay, they are overwhelmed.
Yes, that the police are
and they should close shop. That's because if the federal government cannot meet up with their equipment.
Yes.
Okay.
I just hope that, you know, it doesn't get to a point where, you know, weapons that are meant for the war front are allowed, you know, in the hands of citizens. That's why I said it has to be regulated. Semi-automatic weapons should be banned.
Okay, moving on. The Catholic Diocese of Enugu has condemned and dissociated the diocese from the inflammatory political utterances of Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka against Peter Obi, presidential candidate of the Labour Party. The diocese described the vituperation of Mbaka against Obi as unbecoming and divisive. This is a clear violation of the provision of Canon 287, subsection 2, which forbids priests from engaging in partisan politics. We notify the general public that Father Mbaka's view on the matter are entirely personal to him and do not represent the position of the Catholic Diocese of Enugu. I will just take reaction to this because of time. At Ifeanyi Emodi says, distancing yourself from him is not enough. They are fully aware of the antecedents and are also complicit by their inaction to caution him. They should do the right thing and derobe Ejike Mbaka. Then at Peter Obi houseboy says, Ejike Mbaka, Peter Obi have access to God same way you do. So stop acting like Obi's future is in your hands, all because he failed to donate money to your church. Okay. I want to ask, do you think distancing themselves from Father Mbaka's comments is enough? Because this is not the first time Mbaka is coming out to make some.
And the quoted is a portion of their, you know, guidelines law, where Mbaka is apparently contravening that. Okay. They should make use of the law in punishing him. If it's going to require derobing, then it should be derobed. Simple.
I think for the worst of time, we should just.
But that's it. That I have nothing to say about this particular topic, because Mbaka has been, Father Mbaka rather, has been a very controversial figure, and he says, well, something has said what needs to be said, and also the commenters too. But then, for the want of time, that's it. We can take on today's episode or today's section of the break. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time, and leaving you with a quote from Dale Carnegie that says, develop success from failures. Discouragement and failures are two of the surest stepping stones to success.